When Aleisha did not answer, a gentle voice came from behind the door again. "Your Highness, this is Belissa. Are you okay?" Elysia looked at the door without letting down her guard. As she approached the door, Belissa continued her speech. "I came with Linden because he is going to see His Highness Prince Franz at the palace. I was very worried about you, Your Highness." Elysia sighed upon hearing Belissa's sincere words. She spoke from behind the door. "I promised His Highness that I would not open the door or let anyone in. So, I cannot open the door. But thank you for your concern. It's okay. Are you sure you're not injured? I heard you were exposed to the Empress's mana. I'll be fine after a little rest. This is really convenient." Belissa breathed a sigh of relief in a reassuring tone. Elysia leaned against the door and said, "I'm sorry. I would like to see your face and talk to you." "No, now is the time to be careful." Aleisha laughed lightly. It was as if she saw Belissa extending her hand through the door. "Actually, I have news to tell you. I don't know if the time is right." "What is it?" "Okay." Elysia heard the rustling of Belissa's clothes. She seemed to hesitate as she wandered down the hallway, contemplating whether or not to speak. "A landslide occurred in Dafa." Elysia swallowed hard at Belissa's hesitant words. "So, this finally happened." Aleisha lowered her gaze. The landslide meant only one thing to her. So, Baron Ambrose died. It seems he was there for a reason. Since it is an accident, they say it will be difficult to find the Baron's body. Belissa's voice as she spoke was very cautious. Aleisha clenched her fist as she listened. In the end, Caleb went to Dafa. Aleisha frowned. Even though she sent him the letter, deep down she hoped he wouldn't go. But he decided to go to Dafa driven by his greed. His greed crushed him to death. She felt empty in her heart. Even if for Caleb, Aleisha was just a means to gain power and wealth, there was a time when they were happy together. She didn't know how Caleb felt, but she felt it. Because it was thanks to him that she could endure Patricia's disdain. "I would have liked to have a funeral for him." Aleisha sighed. "Since he died in a landslide," Belissa said, "his body will be difficult to find." Are you okay?" Elysia suddenly raised her head, having been lost in her thoughts. She stroked her cheek and muttered. "I already knew." "Really? How?" Belissa's surprised voice returned at Elysia's answer. But Belissa asked no more. She seemed to set boundaries between what she could explore and what she couldn't. She was wise. And her wisdom led to silence. When Belissa did not finish her speech, it became quiet. Elysia leaned against the door and looked out the window. They were blue clouds streaked with orange sunset light. Heaven was as usual, unaware of what had happened today. "Belissa, I want to ask you something." Aleisha opened her mouth as she looked at the sunset. Belissa's voice came as if she was waiting. "Yes, please." "You're a mother, aren't you?" "Correct." "What if, hypothetically," Aleisha muttered, staring at the sky in amazement. "If a woman becomes pregnant with a child, but cannot protect the child," Aleisha's voice softened. Her hand moved to her dry stomach. She covered her stomach with a trembling hand and swallowed. Even if it was an assumption, even though she knew that this did not happen now, the words did not come out easily. "This." After a long hesitation, her lips finally moved. Elysia continued, staring at the sky. Would it be the mother's fault? Whatever the reason, a mother must protect her child. Aleisha's voice trembled dramatically. A tear rolled down her cheek as she looked at the sunset. Aleisha closed her eyes. When she lost her baby, she couldn't control her grief. Waves of sadness washed over her, so she cried and cried every day. She cried endlessly until she wondered if all her body fluids would run out. Even as she sat quietly, tears were flowing. She spent months like this. Then, when she had no more tears to cry, resentment began to fill Alicia's head. At first, she blamed Nerys. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have rolled down the stairs. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't feel this miserable. Franz, she couldn't blame him. Although she resented his coldness and indifference, she internally took his side. Maybe because she loved him so much. So, Elysia blamed Herf after that. If only I had been more careful. If only I had taken better care of MYF. If I did. Her blame ate her from the inside. But Aleisha couldn't stop him. Until her heart became torn, and she completely collapsed. She couldn't laugh, and she couldn't cry. It was no different now. Even if she returned, even if she lived as the second prince's wife with dignity, she would not be happy. Every day, she only thought about how to get revenge. Because that was the meaning of her second life. Despite living two lives, Aleisha was still Aleisha. The only difference from her previous life is that she is now able to blame Franz. But even as she blamed him, she felt her responsibility internally. Losing the baby was her fault. Wouldn't it be more convenient to blame Franz? Would killing him and taking revenge on him really make her feel better? If you kill him, what will you do next? What is the meaning of her survival in this world? I don't know why you think like that. As the sunset in her vision was becoming blurry, Belissa's voice came from behind the door. She spoke in a very calm and gentle tone. If, very hypothetically, such an injury happened to someone. It shouldn't happen, it's no one's fault. Belissa's answer was decisive. I sighed deeply and continued. In life, inevitable things happen. Things we can't control. We have to think of this as one of them. That's how we live. Belissa spoke calmly. So, we live. Thus, we can live. Elysia felt her eyes heat up upon hearing Belissa's answer. Her tear-dampened cheek became warm. Her breathing calmed and she shivered. Belissa waited until Elysia's breath had calmed down, then she finished speaking. The child also will not want his mother to blame Herf because of him. He wants his mother to be happy. At Belissa's warm words, Elysia collapsed helplessly against the door. She brought her knees together and buried her head. Tears flowed endlessly. But they were different tears than the ones she had shed when she had just lost her child. I have to live. I should be happy. They were tears that ignited the will to live for the first time. The first prince, his wife and the empress died. The event in which 3 members of the royal family went missing at once shook the empire. At first, the nobles tensed, fearing that this would be the second prince's rebellion. Because it seemed that the second prince, aspirant to the throne, got rid of the opposing forces. So, when he invited the high nobles, their opinions were divided. We shouldn't go. If we go, we'll be killed too. What if we don't go? Are you suggesting that we unite to attack His Highness the Second Prince? Who said that? I'm just saying let's survive. Nobles loyal to the first prince tried hard to avoid the summons. If we don't go? Do you have another plan? Those who maintained neutrality believed that the call of the second prince must be responded to, in order to verify the facts. We must unite our opinions. If some go and some do not, it will draw more attention. I don't know why there's so much concern. A low voice crept among the nobles who were raising their voices. The nobles shuddered at the sharp criticism and turned away. Linden looked at the nobles calmly and said, since Her Majesty the Empress Regent has passed away, the highest authority in the royal family now is His Highness the Second Prince. To oppose that is to conspire to betray. So, the nobles looked at each other warily. Linden Schuyler maintained a close relationship with the second prince. The relationship seemed strained when he assigned the Dafa to Ilion, but now that the Dafa had collapsed due to the landslide, that was no longer the case. Linden smiled and said, I won't stop you if you want to plot treason. Is there anyone who wants to? As if someone had poured cold water on their heads, silence prevailed among those present. It didn't take long for their opinions to come together after hours of discussion.